This Buffalo Bills team comes back from a 14-3 hole in the first quarter. Josh Allen is the MVP, looks insane. Do you have a different take? I think this Buffalo Bills team deserves all the credit.
No, I do too. I mean, this is the best team in football, right? And I think we can have maybe a Kansas City conversation at some point in this pod or down the road. But this is the best team in football. But in that game, I did see not. The reliance on the quarterback position is a weird thing to say, but I think, and we've been talking about it in the last couple of weeks, even in wins, I think they're becoming so dependent on Josh Allen to make every play on offense. You saw in this game, you mentioned the rain, the officials allowed the Ravens secondary to be a little bit more handsy, a little bit more physical with the Bills wide receivers than we had seen earlier in the season. And Stephon Diggs is at the top of the wide receiver crop in the NFL, if not the very top. He was handled a little bit this game. So if the styles change, if weather's changing and you're dialing up these direct runs or these direct play calls in terms of putting the ball in Josh Allen's hand and allowing him to make the decision in RPO situations, he had 11 carries. I believe at least 8 of them were designed run plays. I think the reliance not only on an MVP type of player like Josh Allen is a great thing to have, but also it might be a little bit too much. Like what we're seeing with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, right? The defense played poorly. They played poorly in their last 6.5, 7 quarters. And if Duvernay isn't clicking, or if Mark Andrews isn't clicking, they just getting J.K. Dobbins back. You go, okay, how much can you put on Lamar Jackson's plate? I think Buffalo's going to run into that while also having a great win against a top-ranked team in the AFC.
I do think for the offense specifically, and this is a perfect transition to kind of the point I wanted to make on the Buffalo Bills, is that Josh Allen is so much of this offense. But I think it's less that the Buffalo Bills are focusing everything around him and needing him to do it. It's just he's a superhuman. I think Josh Allen's a superhuman. I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I know people will say Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I know Mahomes has better EPA per dropback and those things. He's done it against really good defenses. He did it against the Los Angeles Rams in the opening season, the defending Los Angeles Rams. He did it against the Miami Dolphins across 90 plays in extreme savage humidity. And most recently, this Baltimore Ravens defense is no slouch. And he dominates in that game in the rain, especially in the second half. After the first quarter, where he averaged negative 0.52 EPA per dropback, one of the worst quarters of his career, he bounces back in the final 3 quarters to average 0.3 EPA per dropback to captain a comeback and win this game against a very good Ravens team that I'm very confident is going to go into the postseason. They're 2-2 right now. They're still my favorite to win the AFC North. He is an absolute horse running the football, too. I think that's another part of this, where like Lamar Jackson gets all this praise for running the football effectively and being very rightfully so, the most dynamic runner at the quarterback position. But Josh Allen, you saw that play where he like scoops up the fumble and just runs forward. There isn't another quarterback that does that, like that can wear contact like Josh Allen. And then you factor in his superhuman passing ability in the final 3 quarters of this game. 16 of 27 for 182 and a touchdown. And he also rushed for 62 yards and scored another touchdown. This is not replaceable, right? This is superhuman behavior that I think puts the Buffalo Bills in the conversation, not in the conversation, cements the Buffalo Bills as the best team in the NFL right now, the team to beat in the AFC, the team to beat in the NFL. And so much of that, like you said, is centered around Josh Allen. He doesn't have, so much of the offense goes as he goes, but I think it only goes as he goes because he's just a different level of talent, a different level of player that you want it to go as he goes because he's going to take you far.
Yeah, I worry about them exposing him to hits. And also, him being that guy. You mentioned Lamar Jackson being the runner that he is. Lamar doesn't take a lot of hits. And when he does, it's eye-opening. Josh Allen takes contact, right? And if he's the thrower that we've seen, but also has to endure the punishment that we saw Cam Newton have to endure, I just don't know, especially at that position, I just don't know how sustainable that is. And I'm not just talking about weeks on weeks on weeks, but long playoff runs where you're going to see better pitching in terms of the defenses that you're seeing. You're not going to see some of these defenses that you run into during the regular season. I just worry that having him exposed to that much, not being able to tell Devin Singletary, hey, this is going to be the game where you're going to get 20 touches and hopefully you make enough plays and we can win this thing based on our defense and our special teams. Like those, if I see the Bills start to win those kinds of games where it's like, okay, we don't have to have Josh throw the ball 30 times and run it 11 times for us to win by 3 or 4 points, then I'll be more secure in feeling like this thing is sustainable. But until then, I mean, hell, Josh Allen has had one of the more remarkable career turnarounds, and it's only been 4 or 5 years inside of it. From where he started to where he is right now, it's obviously been historic. It's something to watch, but it's also something to keep your eye on while they're the best team in the NFL right now.